We begin with the water emergency in Calgary. Residents were asked today to cut their water use by 25% of what they used yesterday. A major water break is threatening to completely deplete the city's supply. This hour, we're expecting an update from officials on whether this is any closer to being fixed. For more on this, Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek joins me now. Mayor, hello.
Hello.
What's the latest? Is Calgary at risk of running out of water?
Well, we are asking folks right now to make sure that they are trying to conserve as much water as possible. And so far, Calgarians have been very good about it. Last night, we did see a little bit more of a spike in terms of consumption, but I'm confident that people will band together and understand how important this is.
What does it take to run out of water? How urgent is this situation?
So if I can outline the situation for you, it's not just a water main. This is a feeder main. So it's a transmission pipe, if you will. You can actually drive a car through it. So that's the size of it. It takes the water from our treatment facility and flows it through to a variety of different reservoirs in different communities. And so you can imagine the type of pressure and capacity in this pipe. So when it broke, there was a lot of water that flowed out. And now that it is valved off and we're trying to determine the point of repair, there's no water flowing to those reservoirs. So that's why we're in such a critical state. That's why we're asking Calgarians to exercise conservation right now.
Yeah, I think the artery you're speaking about is about 11 kilometers long, right? This is a big piece of equipment. How many people are affected?
15 kilometers.
15 kilometers. Okay, and how many people are affected then when that goes down?
So right now, the community of Bowness is where this happened, and the folks in that community are on a boil water advisory. There are also 9 water wagons in that community, and I really appreciate how patient those folks have been while the crews have been working to take care of this repair. Crews are working 24/7 to make sure that residents and businesses can get access to safe water as quickly as possible. There's another community called Montgomery that's faced some water pressure issues. Other than that, most Calgarians are not seeing a disruption of service. That's why it's so critical that we explain to everybody that it will impact us all, because those reservoirs in each of our communities, as they start depleting, that's when we start running out of water. So that's why this is so key right now.
So what can residents do to help avoid that situation? What can they do right now?
So, not running laundry every night, making sure you're waiting until you've got a full load, not running that dishwasher until you have a full load. For the folks that like long showers, hate to ask, but if for a few days you could limit it to just a few minutes, that would be fantastic. And frankly, we don't have to flush the toilet every time we use it. So those are the types of measures that people can be using.
If the situation drags on longer, are there any plans to invoke a mandatory indoor water restriction?
I know the teams are looking at that right now, and I have every confidence that Calgarians will pull together. We are a community of people that understands that our collective greater good is very important at this stage, but I know that the water services team is looking at what might be needed. We do have outdoor water restrictions right now where you can't water your lawns or wash your external windows, anything like that. And we have reached out to our businesses that are the biggest water users, and many of them have put their own restrictions in place as well.
You noticed you saw a spike last night in some water usage. How cooperative are people being with this call to use about a quarter of the amount of water they normally use?
I have a strong sense that Calgarians will be very cooperative. I think it's a matter of habit too. We sometimes forget and turn on the dishwasher or, hop in the shower and forget about, what we've got in terms of a situation before us right now. And word is getting out to a lot of people who maybe didn't see the announcements yesterday. So we continue to push out the messaging. We continue to engage with various communities. And I do have a lot of optimism that Calgarians will take this on and do a good job of reducing their consumption.
Do we have any clarity on what actually happened to this water infrastructure? Why did it go down?
We don't have clarity yet. The biggest thing that we needed to do, and as I saw on site yesterday, the crews were trying to remove the water that was on the site. And until they could get rid of that water, they can't actually excavate and get to the pipe and see what's wrong. I have a feeling that we will have more answers today, but that's what the wait has been.
So there's no rough timeline as to how long it will take to remove that water and get the repairs underway?
The crews were fairly confident that they could get rid of enough water by today to start the digging, but we are due for an update at about 3:30, so we'll see where we are.
You mentioned Bowness and the boil water advisory that's in that community. Is there a risk that is a larger boil water advisory for other parts of the city? How close are we to that?
Right now, we are not seeing indications that we would have to do boil water in other communities, but we are keeping a very close eye on it. The teams are monitoring this very carefully. Alberta Health Services is our partner in all of this. And so as soon as we have any indications that anything is wrong in any other communities, we will get the messaging out quickly, and we will make sure that water wagons are in place for any other affected community. But right now, it's not looking that way.
Okay, so just for clarity's sake, it's just Bowness and I guess Montgomery as well, where there's a boil water advisory in place. The rest of the city, it's safe for residents to continue drinking the water. Is that right?
It's only Bowness. It's not Montgomery. Bowness is the only community that has the boil water advisory. No other community in Calgary has it.
Okay, great. And are you getting the support you need from the provincial officials? You mentioned Alberta Health Services. Is there anything else you need from the province that you're not getting right now?
Well, I had a very early morning call with Premier yesterday and another update call last night. They are absolutely willing to help us out in any capacity that they can or need to. So it's good to have a partner like that. Alberta Health Services has been working with us very diligently to make sure that we are keeping public safety top of mind. Public health is a priority for all of us. And I know that Calgary Fire Department has been in conversation with the province to see if there's any ability to practice fire suppression in a different manner if it's needed. So we are working well together.
And this is your chance. What's your message to Calgarians who are watching this? What should they know in the next few hours? What should they be doing to prepare themselves?
So first, I want to say thank you for all the efforts that you've undertaken to conserve water. And I would say, if you could do just that little bit more, and I know it's a lot to ask, but if we all do this together, we can make sure we have enough of a water supply to service everyone in the city, and especially if there is any kind of an emergency where Calgary Fire Department needs access to water, that we have it in place.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Jyoti Gondek is the mayor of Calgary. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.